Supplementation and fortification, that's a way of getting extra nutrients into your diet, be that vitamins, minerals, or even protein. Supplements are extras you take, so it can be tablets or powders and sort of protein powders, where fortification is where the extra nutrients are added into your food by the manufacturers, which is common with things like B12 into a number of vegan foods, but even common white flour has added iron and calcium. Some people get worried about taking supplements that they either want to take too much or they want to avoid them altogether. And if you're following a balanced diet, the need for supplements can be fairly minimal. I think it's important to be selective, and if we look at general advice across the whole population of the UK, we're encouraged to take vitamin D at least some of the year because the lack of sunlight and the lack of good weather we tend to have. Vitamin D, or what's sometimes called the sunshine vitamin, is something we all need to think about in the UK because, well, our weather's not always the greatest all year round. It is possible in summer with sensible, safe sun exposure for us to make vitamin D from sunlight. But in winter months and even autumn and spring, we need to look for sources of vitamin D from our diet. When people are choosing a vitamin D supplement, it can be confusing because there's different types. There's something called D2 and D3. If possible, it's better to choose a D3 supplement. Historically, they've come from animal products, typically lanolin from sheep's wool, but increasingly we're getting vegan options which are made from lichens. There are a number of nutrients that people thinking about eating a vegan diet or starting to eat a vegan diet should probably think about. B12 is an interesting vitamin because it's a vitamin we associate with only being found in animal products. If you're choosing to follow a vegan diet, we need to find other sources. If you're choosing to take a supplement, it's probably the only vitamin where it's okay to take more than 100% of the IDA because we possibly need more of it from a supplemented form. We also find it in a number of vegan products where it's added in there, such as some of the replacements for milk. Selenium's another interesting one because that's a useful mineral that helps our body protect itself against some of the aggressive chemicals that can exist in our environment, something called free radicals. And typically the amount of selenium we find in our food depends on the soil that it lives and grows in. And some parts of the world have higher levels of selenium than others. So we know that things like wheat that grows in Canada or certain nuts like Brazil nuts can be good sources of selenium. Iodine's an interesting one because across the UK we had quite a low iodine intake until it was actually supplemented into the feed of cattle. And then it started appearing in the meat and the milk that we consume from those animals. So if you're not eating those foods and you're choosing to follow a vegan diet, you may need to look for other sources of iodine, which can come from things like seaweed, so something like vegan sushi, but increasingly it's being fortified into some plant-based milk substitutes, or you can have a look, as in other countries, where they actually iodise the salt. I think the message would be to try and eat a variety of foods and think carefully how your foods fit together so you enjoy them, but also they give you all the nutrients you need. And then think carefully about selecting supplements as appropriate for your needs so you can be healthy and as happy as possible. If you want to find more about nutrients of interest to people choosing to follow a vegan diet, it might be worth looking at the Vegan Society website where there's a page all about nutrients, where all the content has either been written and checked by a registered dietitian. If you have individual needs, it's maybe worth speaking to a health professional, and if you feel you have sort of complex health needs or challenging questions about nutrition, it's worth speaking to your doctor and maybe ask for a referral to a registered dietitian.